Okay, let's begin with the best strategy to do well at teams. So this is very important that your teammates understand this. I mean, if you get a bad score early in the match, you keep playing normally. You do not change your style in any way. You've got to trust your teammates. They may get the score back. They may already have got the score back on the board. And certainly no heroics are needed. Your Flanagan league matches have a large number of boards, 22 or 24. And if you think about it for a second, if you got a bad score on a board and you're playing a 24 board match, there's 48 other boards where you can get that score back. There's 23 at your table, and there's 24 at the other table, where the scores will be won and lost. Well, you do not change your style if you get one bad score. You can prepare your excuses, but you keep playing your normal game. Your good bridge is what you keep on playing. And there's nothing undermines a team more than one teammate who goes wild and starts to try to get it back. Most importantly, when you're playing teams, you have a great responsibility to your teammates. So you need to concentrate to avoid careless mistakes in bidding or play. I mean, a physical mistake that could cost you a game. So you really have to concentrate because you have a duty of care to your full team, unlike pairs. To state the obvious, you'll play safely as declared to make your contract. Um, um, and you won't take any undue risks for overtricks if they jeopardize the contract. But you will take risks in defense to defeat the contract. So by that I mean that if you can hope partner has a certain card, maybe the King of Hearts, and if they have this card, and they can have it on the auction, they could have the card. You could assume they have the card and take and play partner for the card in order to try and defeat the contract. You may give an overtrick in doing this, an overtrick that would be fatal at pairs, but in teams, the risk is worth the reward. Any questions on that? And remember, you have to unmute yourself to ask a question. Okay. Part score battles. I'd expect in a team match about half the boards will be a part score battle. And here you can win between 2 and 7 imps. So we need to compete aggressively for the part score, particularly non-vulnerable. And I'll be going through this in some detail and what bid level of your fit means. But when vulnerable, you're careful not to overcompete. At a certain point, maybe it's the 3 level, rather than bid on, you may decide to play to defeat their contract in teams. You might take more risks in that area in pairs. Penalty doubles are quite different in teams than in pairs. So in teams, you make a special effort not to double opponents into game. So they're playing in a part score, 2 hearts or 3 hearts or 3 of a minor. And you should rarely double them for penalties in those contracts. You might double them 3 times more often in pairs than you would in teams. So in pairs, if you double them, you're getting a top or a bottom, 100% or a 0. And you're happy with that in pairs. In teams, if you double them in a part score and they make, say, plus 670, 13 imps on the board, that 13 imps will cramp, will really do severe damage for your entire match. And and it could lose you the whole match on that one board. So you're careful not to double opponents in par scores. You do it far less than you would in pairs. But if they're in a game or higher, if they might have outbid you, so you're obviously going to double them. But if they're in a game and you think that game is going down, do double them, because they're getting their bonus if they make this game. They're getting their 500-point bonus for a vulnerable game, 300-point bonus for a non-vulnerable game. And in a sense, you get your bonus in this case when you double them down. So you're freer to double them in games if you feel they're going down. And these kind of doubles can pay big dividends in a team match. Just like playing for money, bidding. If you were playing rubber bridge, you get big bonuses for bidding game and bidding slam. And in teams, you also actively pursue your game and slam bonuses. More on this in a little while. Now, there's something quite interesting to say about preempts in teams. Your main objective when you preempt in teams, and you preempt aggressively, is you're trying to obstruct your opponents from getting to their game or slam bonus. This is very important, and so you do this freely. But in teams, you don't sacrifice as often as you do in pairs. And this is a key point, which I need you to understand. So a sacrifice, if you think about it, gives away a score. It could well be that if you chose to defend them, they may go down in the game you're sacrificing against. Now, if you sacrifice in pairs and you're right, and you go for, say, 500 against a vulnerable game of 620, you get a top or a near top. But in teams, you only get 3 imps. And that's quite a small return for the risk you've taken in teams. So in teams, your preemption is designed to be very annoying, disruptive, push the opponents around. But the benefit of sacrificing and giving away 500, 300 is not great, because you're giving away the chance to knock their contract they may not be making. So on this point, I'd like to hear from the audience that the point is understood. Any questions on it? And you have to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. No?
There seems to be a slight contradiction between bidding aggressively for games if you're vulnerable and not
sacrificing. There is a contradiction in the sense that I'm trying to there's a nuance between the two things. So in teams, when you preempt, your main objective is to knock the opposition around and get in their way, because they're heading to a vulnerable, perhaps a game or slam bonus, and you're trying to stop them. But in pairs, I think there's a lot more sacrificing goes on, and it can pay big dividends, because minus 500 could give you a top. But in teams, you don't get a top for minus 500. You get 3 imps. And you might have taken a big chance to get that 3 imps, and it's not worth the risk. So you still sacrifice in teams, but you just do it less than you would in pairs. Your main objective in teams is to obstruct the opponents. So perhaps it's a subtle difference, but it's a definite difference in the two forms of the game.
And when you talk about sacrificing, and like obviously the vulnerability would be what's important there.
Yes. Well, yeah, a sacrifice is, I suppose, you bid over their game, so that they were getting a bonus and you're bidding over it and perhaps going down doubled. The way I would put it would be the best sacrifices are when you're not even sure if you're making a contract or not. Nobody's sure. Those sacrifices are good because nobody knows exactly what's going on. So sacrifice freely in that case, if there's a chance you could make it. Okay, it's a subtle point, but hopefully it'll become clearer. The main point is preemption is designed to obstruct. Okay. So now move on to the meat of the night. So I'm going to talk about tips for winning Teams Bridge. As I said, these are I said there's 9 things that if my team played your team, there are 9, if you like, methods that we'd use to try and beat your team. So I'm going to share those 9 methods as in the form of winning tips with examples with you. Also, there's a 1-page summary, which I hope you might share with the teammates who are not on the call this evening. It's a 1-pager and well worth sharing, I think. Let's begin with a relatively simple example. What would you bid on this hand? You could choose to pass. You could invite game. You might have your favorite tuna trump inquiry, asking whether you're minimum or maximum, and so on, or asking for a feature if max. Or you might find another bid.
4 spades.
4 spades. That's Andreas, is it? Yes. 4 spades is right. There's a huge reward in teams for a vulnerable game. Huge. And I mean, this hand actually is taken from a match I played, my team played in at the beginning of the season in August, in the Sonia Britain, which is Republic versus the North match, which has I think there's about 8 teams play. And even your teams could also qualify for this if you win a national championship during the year at your level. And on this board, the Northern Ireland team failed to bid the game. They made an inquiry and they found a partner was minimum and they dropped it. And that's kind of criminal if you think about the way team scoring works. With any minimum opposite the West Hand, you should just bid 4 spades. There's a vulnerable game at stake, and 10 imps is available in a straightforward manner. So my message would be, when it comes to a vulnerable game, don't invite game, just bid it. And that advice is applicable across many hands. So when there's a bit of shape in the hands and you're vulnerable, don't bother inviting, just bid game. This pays off significantly in a team's match, in a team's environment. Remember that plus 10 imps that's available. So bid vulnerable games aggressively, drop the invite, just bid it. And 10 imps is at stake in this scenario. This is a very common scenario, and I've seen lots of good players make a game invitation and drop it and make 3 spades plus 1, or God forbid 3 spades plus 2, and so on. Now, if you had a balanced hand with not a lot of shape, I think it's probably reasonable to invite in some in circumstances. But as a general case, though, you should be bidding vulnerable games aggressively and drop the invite completely, on most hands. Just bid it. Take your chances. As well as the fact that a game could be stitched, you also might gain from the opening lead or a missed defense. And in teams, the rewards are very high for you. Just bid it. So that's my tip number one. And if our two teams approach the game differently, we'll win 10 imps on these boards. Another hand. What do you bid on this hand?
Trump.
Two-no Trump. Two-no Trump is reasonable. I think I would expect two-no Trump to be perhaps a majority bid. You know, and it's worth discussing some of the possible bids here. Like a negative double is possible, even though you don't have a four-card major. So if you do a negative double, you're planning to bid 3 diamonds next, or two-no Trump Invitational. Now, the problem with that is you're a little worried about your club stop. It's not great. But also, you have an 11 count, but it isn't a wonderful 11. You know, a good agreement to have is that 3 clubs is invitational or better, showing diamonds. So 3 clubs, I have 4 or more diamonds, and I'm invitational to game or better, and partner will show a stop. That's the ideal bid for this hand, non-vulnerable. So in this hand, I chose 3 clubs. My partner bid 3 diamonds, and we played in a safe 3 diamonds plus 1. At the other table, they were in the two-no Trump minus 1. Game has very little chance. You know, the opposition quickly set up 4 club tricks and the ace of spades. And so why is it that I'm bidding like a demon vulnerable and quite relaxed non-vulnerable? So we gained 5 imps on this board, but when it comes to a non-vulnerable game, you know, you only bid a non-vulnerable game if it's a favorite to make. So the odds in favor of it must be at least 50%. So you should be quite relaxed about playing in a part score a lot of the time. There's no special features about the north-south hands in terms of length in you know, source of tricks, and the south hand has an 11 count, but it's got poor shape. There's no extra length as a source of tricks. Partner has 4 diamonds as well, so it's a good case for playing in 3 diamonds on this board, which is what we did, and we gained 5 imps for our trouble. And I think on the other side, they bid two-no Trump with the south hand, and partner raised to 3, and they had nowhere to go. So non-vulnerable, be quite relaxed about bidding game. You only bid games that are favorites to make, 50% chance or better. The way we bid it, South knew that North did not had no help in clubs. And now they were able to stop in 3 diamonds. Any questions on that? So you don't stretch for a non-vulnerable game. It's a 6 imp decision, 50-50 or better. Now, look at this hand. This is a very important, almost a rule for competitive bidding here, that everybody on your team needs to be playing. And they need to be all doing this, you know, at both tables, in every match. The principle is to bid to the level of your fit. And you may be familiar with this already, and it's often called, the law of total tricks. And basically, the number of trumps is equal to the number of tricks. If you have 9 trumps in the 2 hands, you should be bidding at least at a 3 level. So on this hand, my teammates were allowed to get away with playing in 2 spades, incredibly. And they made 11 tricks, in fact, when North-South didn't cash their club tricks. So that was plus 200 for our team. Now, North and South have contravened the law of total tricks. They have not bid to the level of their fit. North has 5 hearts and South has 4. So this should always, no matter what, be bidding to the 3 level. But in fact, the South hand has a singleton spade, and the South hand is of huge value. And my partner, who was South, appreciated the value of the hand better. But at a basic level, in your team matches, you need to be bidding to the level of your fit at both tables. And if you do, you'll quite often be able to win 6 or 7 imps, and you certainly won't be, or its board will be flat. If you break this rule, you will almost certainly be losing 6 or 7 imps in the part score area. So what happened at the other table? Well, at the other table, I think I was North in this hand. East bid 2 hearts Michaels, and my partner bid 2 no trump, which for us is shows an invitational or better hand with heart support. West bid 3 spades, pass, and South bid 4 hearts, quite happily. Look at the North. Look at the hand evaluation that North and South used, because we also use losing trick count. So no, the North hand has 12 points, but it has 7 losers, and the South hand has 9 points, but also has 7 losers. That's, I suppose, showing the value of the singleton spade. So 24 minus 14 is 10 tricks. So North-South expect to make 10 tricks. So losing trick count might help you on your way to bidding this game. So the scores on this board were plus 200 for us in one table, and plus 420 at the other. A total of swing of 620 and quite a massive 12 imp gain for the CBI team. Any comments? Does anybody use losing trick count actively during their their matches? And is everybody aware of the principle of bidding to the level of your fit? So an open question there. Do you think your team understands this principle already?
On the first hand, the first example of that, where they end up playing in 2 spades, because East has overcalled 1 spade, should West preempt by bidding 3 spades straight off?
I would agree with that, yes. Just to note that I would never bid 2 hearts with the South hand myself, but this happened at the table. This is the actual auction that so a Northern Ireland pair bid 1 heart and 2 hearts. But yes, with the West hand, I would bid 3 spades. It's well worth a 3 spade bid. I agree. So as East-West, I probably expect to be in 4 spades with East-West hands, and I'd be going down 1 if they defend brilliantly, and otherwise I'd be making 4 spades East-West. Yeah. But do you think your teammates already Would any of your team fail to get the 3 hearts with the North-South cards? So every time you have a 5-4 fit, you must get to at least a 3 level in a competitive auction. There will be an odd exception if you're very, very weak, I suppose. But in a competitive auction where values are shared, you bid to the level of fit. And this protects the part score swing. You're protecting against a part score swing at both tables. Okay. So is losing trick count, I think it used to be in fashion, 20 years ago. I'm not sure it's taught these days, is it? Anybody using losing trick count actively across the...
Yeah,
Yeah?
I am. Yeah.
So in losing trick count, the principle is an opening bid should have 7 losers. And a simple raise to 2 in response, I think is 9 losers. And then you invite with, in response to an opening bid with 8 losers. Is that right? I think that's more or less it. So the south hand is a 7 loser hand opposite an opening bid with 7 losers. So they bid gain always. And no matter how you evaluate the south hand, the singleton spade and the strong hearts and the ace of clubs, aces are undervalued significantly in suit contracts, and they're very powerful. Personally, I value an ace in a suit contract at 5 points as I go about my business. Okay. So fight for the part score, bid to the level of your fit, protect. You can win 6 simps or frequently avoid losing 6 simps and flatten the board. 8 trumps, you bid to the 2 level. 9 trumps, you bid to the 3 level. And 10 trumps, you bid to the 4 level. Now, okay, vulnerable against none the odd time. I think it's acceptable not, to be careful on the 4 level. But the more you bid to the level of your fit, the better off your scores will be on that sheet when you come to compare. Happy enough? That's tip 3. Here we go. Let's take the West cards. You see them here. You have a nice 6-card club suit. And the opposition are playing weak in 4. And south on your right opens 1 spade. I think you pass. You haven't got enough for a 2-level overcall. I think personally, if I had it available, I would do a weak jump overcall with the West hand. That's certainly my style. But let's say West is feeling conservative and passes. I think many of you would do a weak jump overcall there. Nor bids 2 spades, pass back to you. So now, is it safe to bid here? Let's discuss this bidding sequence. How safe is it to bid in general in this sequence? Any views, any comments?
Well, you're non-vulnerable.
You're non-vulnerable, which is very good for competing.
Opposition are sort of minimal.
Opposition are minimum, and they've found a fit, and they're minimum. So that tells you that something about partner's hand, doesn't it?
Yeah, partner's got
Partner's
points
fine.
in his hand.
Partner's got real values over there. Because if the opposition have a combined 22, 23 count, and you have 8, it means partner has about a 10 count at least, maybe more. The opposition could be quite weak. Yeah. Partner could have 4 spades. Yeah, it's true. But anyway, is it safe to bid here in this position?
I think so, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. This is about the safest position you could get to bid. First of all, you have a good suit. The opponents are in a fit auction, so you're going to bid. You're not going to pass. Now, double, I think, is incorrect, and you have a simple 3 club bid here. So this is a balancing bid. So when the option have found a fit and they're stopping at the 2 level, you make a balancing bid, and it's the safest position to make a balancing bid you could have. I suppose on this hand, the suit is too good and it's too obvious to make the balancing bid. But on lots of hands, with a lesser suit, you will be coming in with a balancing double and competing for the part score. It's a safe position, and if you do this, you have a 6 imp gain on many boards. So we should compete for the part score. So here's the hand. Can you all see that? So on this hand, 3 clubs will make a lot of the time, and in that case, you have a double part score swing, where your teammates make 2 spades and you make 3 clubs. That's a 7 imp gain, very significant. You also may push the opposition to 3 spades, particularly if they have a 5-4 fit. They'll take the push to 3 spades, and now you gain 4 imps if your teammates are making 2 spades. And even if you go off 1 against 2 spades making, you're going to gain 2 imps. So your gain here is significant. It's 2 to 7 imps. And there's special mathematics in your favor when you're non-vulnerable in teams or even in pairs. The maths are on your side. You should compete very aggressively non-vulnerable. It's only really bad if you're ever doubled down 2. Double down 1, it's in pairs it's less than their part score. So in teams, they're rarely never going to double you at the 3 level because they're afraid of giving away of a game swing when they double you into game. So balance in when opposition find a fit. Your side also has a fit. If they have a fit, you have a fit. And you've got good values. Gain your 6 imps. Tip number 4. This has some similarities, I suppose, a bit weaker than the previous board. How do you feel about this hand? Two-no trump would be your inquiry. I think 3 clubs obviously would be mad. You've already found a fit. So you might bid 3 spades to invite or obstruct the opposition, or you could bid 4 spades. What would you bid in this hand?
I think I'd bid 4.
Paul, would you?
Sorry?
Paul, what about if you allow your
Double.
5 for your ace of spades in that?
Yes. You've got 2 aces, which is very good, and you should value that.
So then, yeah.
I think Andras was on the money again with his 4 spade bid, but there's a particular reason why you automatically bid 4 spades in teams. If you have a big spade fit, there's a very strong chance that the opposition have a heart fit. And their vulnerable game, effectively, to use a rugby analogy, their vulnerable game, if they score it, it's like a try, right? And a 4 spade bid from you, therefore, is the equivalent of a rugby tackle. You're stopping them scoring that try. So teams, it's all about getting your bonuses. And north-south, they have looks like a good chance to make 4 hearts vulnerable, which will be 620. A very nasty score for you to, minus 620. Imagine bringing that to your team, back home to your teammates at the break. Don't let it happen. Just bid 4 spades. So I call it suppress your opposition's vulnerable games. If at all possible, you don't let the opposition bid a making vulnerable game. You think ahead and you try and suppress it. You actually don't expect to make 4 spades. If you had a guess, you might say, I think we probably make 3 spades in this hand. But you don't bid 3 spades because you don't want them, bidding 4 hearts. If you bid 3 spades, they'll come in with a double and they will get to 4 hearts. And now you have to bid 4 spades anyway. So I think in the match between Northern Ireland and the Republic, both sides were in 4 spades. My teammates went down 1 in 4 spades, and they went down 2 at the far side. So we gained a few imps with better defense. That's probably clear enough. So you're making a kind of a preemptive, a bullying bid like 4 spades, to stop the opposition getting together and finding their fits. You could also use the level of the fit logic, which is 6 and 4 is 10. So you've got 6 spades opposite 4 spades. 6 and 4 is 10. 10 spades, 10 tricks, jump to 4 spades. That works, very well on most boards. Now, I was asked a question during the week about a similar hand, but so tell me what you think about this hand. So this is an actual hand from the event, from a team event in August. You hold the West cards, a 7-6 hand, incredible. What are your thoughts with this hand at teams?
I'd want to be bidding something.
Yes, absolutely. Can you somebody evaluate the hand for me? Because I want to hear about your hand evaluation thoughts.
With 3 hearts. It's a 4 loser hand.
4 loser hand.
If you've got a match, if you've got it, if your partner has some spades or some hearts.
Perfect. Yes. It's only 7 high card points, but put that to one side. It's a 4 loser hand. And one of the, I'm often able to get away with certain bids and to bid high level contracts and make them and so on. And here's what the method I follow is, I have a 4 loser hand. I've only 7 points, but I say to myself when I pick up the hand, if partner has 1 fitting card, 1 cover card for me, just 1. It could be the ace of spades, could be the queen of hearts, could be the queen of spades. They have 1 card for me, we can make 4 hearts or 4 spades. So whatever a better fit is, the partner has 1 decent card for me in the majors, we can make game. So that is my mindset on this hand. Now, on this hand, I have special agreements that, I can play, I could bid 4 clubs, which is showing both majors and says I've got 6-6 or something like that, asking partner to pick a major. But that's that's an unusual agreement and not available to most players. So, but when I pick up this hand, I'm definitely I whisper to myself, I'm playing this hand no matter what, because if you look at the vulnerability, the opposition are vulnerable, and West is not vulnerable, playing teams. So I'm never going to allow North-South to collect their vulnerable game or even their vulnerable slam bonus if it gets to that.
Paul,
what happened at the table?
Sorry, Paul, if I bid 4 clubs on that, would my partner take that looking for aces? No.
Well, my part. See, I mention it because I have that agreement. So I've agreed with my partner that 4 clubs is. A
But that's
huge-
all you're really missing from that bid. If you're going to go to 4 hearts in any case,
Yeah.
you just go and find if there is an ace or a queen or a.
Yes.
If
yes.
you were going there in any case, you.
Yeah, but the thing is, on this hand, I've no interest in the ace of diamonds or the ace of clubs. I'm more interested in the 10 of spades than I am in the ace of clubs or the ace of diamonds. All I
Yeah,
care about
you don't want, yeah.
is the values in the majors. So
That's no good, really.
yeah, and the other thing I care about is I care about the opposition and the fit they have in the minors. I care a lot about that, and I worry about that. So on this hand, West decided to bid 2 clubs for the majors, which is perfectly probably correct. Because you're going to find out which major partner prefers. That's okay. So West bid two clubs, and in fact, my teammates held the East-West cards here, and they bid the simple 2 clubs. North bid 2 diamonds, East bids 2 spades, which is by bidding 2 spades over their 2 diamond bid. East is showing 5 to 9 points. It's called a free bid. They're giving preference to spades and they're showing some values. So now West knows that East has at least one of those cards that we talked about, a card in the majors. North-South bid 3 diamonds. West jumps to 4 spades, 5 clubs, pass back to West. So West had previously decided that no matter what, he wasn't letting North-South collect their vulnerable game bonus, and he bids 5 spades. In fact, I think he got away undoubled. So my teammates were in 5 spades -1, and on the other table, I was North, and we were in 5 clubs making +1. In fact, we could make a slam on a diamond finesse, but I suppose that's a bit arbitrary. Making a vulnerable game is probably the correct target. So, what's the moral of this story? With extreme shape, bid 1 more. How often have you regretted when you have an extreme fit with partner, a big fits that both sides are bidding, where you let the opposition outbid you? What I'm saying to you is, with extreme shape in teams, bid 1 more. It's often called taking out insurance. You're taking out insurance against their vulnerable game making, and the premium you pay is you might go down, in this case, non-vulnerable. And in this case, not even doubled. And when West bid 5 spades, as far as they knew, they could well be making 5 spades. In fact, 5 spades will be making a lot of time, but in this case, the heartbreak is pretty bad. And 5 spades went 1 off. Any comments on that? So with extreme shape, bid 1 more. This will save you a bucket of imps in teams during the season. Okay, that was tip 5. Bid 1 more in competition. There's 11 imps on the line when both sides have big fits and lots of trumps. After all, when you have a big fit with a partner, they have a big fit also. So make sure you play the hand. And we certainly collected 11 imps on this board by applying this method. Would we be able to use this method against your team? Okay. Let's have a look at this next tip. Your partner opens 1 diamond. they overcall a spade, and you have this nice little 8 count, and you bid 2 diamonds. You've agreed with partner that 2 diamonds shows 8 to 10. It's a nice agreement to have on this hand. The hand on your left raises the 2 spades, and your partner bids 3 spades, which is a strong game forcing bid. So what do you bid now? What do you bid with the south hand?
3-0 trump.
3-0 trump. Yep. Yep. See, I maintain that your pairs brain, you all play mostly in clubs where you're playing pairs game. And in the pairs game, you're rewarded for bidding 3-0 trump. In fact, you're programmed to bid 3-0 trump here, because in pairs, if they make 3-0 trump +1, you have a horrible duck available on the score sheet in the pairs game. But this is teams. Now, when partner bids 3 spades, you have to look at the quality of your stop, you know, your stopper in spades. Now, for example, if I have queen, jack to 4 spades, they're slow values. A good no trump stop, they're of no value playing in a suit contract, and they're of quite, you know, they may well be worth even 2 stops playing in no trump. So that's you know, so I'll happily bid 3-0 trump with the queen, jack to 4 with those slow values. Now with ace to 3, it's different. Okay, ace 10-9, partner could have a singleton jack, and your ace 10-9 would become a double stop. But an ace to 3 is a fast stop, and it's ideal for suit play. And on this hand, you know, because spades are raised, the partner almost certainly has a singleton spade. You're not playing pairs. You're playing teams. So my partner jumped to 5 diamonds. And you look at the 2 hands. My comment on this hand is that in teams, the minor suits are back. In a sense, in pairs, the minor suits are out of fashion. You bid 3-0 trump on a lot of hands, and you're programmed into doing it by looking up at the pair scores over the years playing in your club. But in teams, the minor suits are back in fashion. On this hand, you jump to 5 diamonds. We made 5 diamonds for +400, and the opponents were, surprise, surprise, in 3-0 trump -1. And we gained 10 imps on this board. So in teams, you bid the safest game or part score. You don't have to worry about the no trump over trick that you're in pairs, which stops you bidding 5 of a minor. In teams, you bid the safest game or part score. So if you have a big minor fit, you'll play in a minor, and you're playing in a part score, you'll play in the minor part score, not in a precarious no trump part score. And when you get these choices about whether to bid 5 of a minor or 3-0 trump, use the quality of your stop to make the decision. You know, with slow values, as a stop, you'll bid the 3-0 trump to maximize the benefit of having those slow values. But with pure, you know, top values like an ace to 3 or ace to 4, favor the minor suit game. Any comments on this?
Yeah, just see the north hand there, and if you're sitting there with the singleton, you're really not expecting your partner to have much in spades. Would you not just, after the 2 diamonds, bid 5 diamonds yourself?
You could do, but if partner had king, jack, other spade, or you know, three or trump could be the right place to play, because you'll have three top losers in diamond. If you're losing a spade to go with the diamond tricks and so on, the club tricks and so on, you could well be going down in 5 diamonds if partner has slow values in spades. So your 3 spade bid is a good bid because it consults partner, and partner knows to bid 3 no trump with slow values as a stop, and knows to jump to 5 diamonds with either nothing in spades or the ace. So the ideal holdings for South to have in spades are absolutely nothing, 3 small, 4 small, or the ace. They're the perfect holdings to play in a suit contract, to play in 5 diamonds. So in a good partnership, you consult partner, because partner could have either hand. Partner could have king, queen, other spade. They're slow values, 2 stops, very comfortable 3 no trump with the ace of spades you expect with East. Okay. Any further questions on that? We gain 10 imps with this on this board, simply by dusting down the minor suit games and bringing them back. So bid in the safest contract, minor suits over no trump. Drop the pair as a must play and no trump attitude. And with a single stop, especially the ace, you play in game in a minor, and in general, you prefer minor suit part scores to no trump part scores in general in teams. Your chances of making your 2 or 3 clubs or 2 or 3 diamonds and so on is much higher than making 2 no trump, for instance. Or so play in minor suit part scores much more frequently than no trump part scores when you have a minor suit fit. Okay, that's tip number 6. That's 6 down, 3 to go. Any questions on that? How are we doing time-wise? Probably okay.
25 to 8.
Sorry?
It's 25 to.
25 to, okay. Yeah, we've got about, say, 15 minutes to go, I think, if that. Take this hand, take the north hand, and you've got a 15 count. And you open a heart, partner bids 2 clubs, you rebid 2 diamonds, and partner bids 3 hearts. Now, that's been agreed between you as that's a forcing bid. So what do you bid with the north hand and why? So what is partner up to when he bids 3 hearts? A forcing bid. Well, they haven't bid game. What are they thinking?
Try.
Slam try. Yes. If they bid, they're making a game forcing bid, and there must be a reason. So partner has a slam interest, and they're asking for Q bids to assess your interest in slam. So you have an opportunity now. North has a chance. North, if it has no interest in slam, will simply bid 4 hearts. So if they, for instance, if North had queen to 3 spades and no king of spades, I think that you may well just simply bid 4 hearts and say, partner, a minimum, I have no particular slam interest for you. In fact, partner, I don't have a fit in your clubs, so I have no interest. Well, in this hand, North has extra strength and has interest. So the correct bid by North is what?
4 no trump.
3 spades.
3 spades.
4 no trump is making the decision in one go. So you're driving to a slam on yourself, and it's possible, but I don't think you're quite strong enough to do that. And 3 spades is the correct bid, and you're Q bidding. And to build confidence about this slam, what North-South can do now is swap Q bids, as you'll see on the next page. So we bid to this slam, 3 spades, 4 clubs, Q bid, back 4 diamonds. We swap Q bids, and South then used key card, and we made 6 hearts, and it was missed at the other side. So and it was a non-vulnerable slam. So non-vulnerable slams are nearly as good as vulnerable slams. A vulnerable slam gets you not bid by them, gets you 13 imps, but a non-vulnerable slam that they fail to bid gets you 11 imps, which is pretty good. So if you're well, I'd like your team need to as captain, perhaps you need to make sure your team as follows. First of all, Q bidding. So a Q bid is you Q bid ace or king or shortage, and a Q bid shows extra values are held and a slam might be on. So if North believes there's no slam on, they won't bid 3 spades. They'll bid 4 hearts, giving a message that there's no extra values held and they don't believe the slam's on. When North Q bids and South Q bids back, they're both showing that they believe extra values are held and a slam might be on. Your team should all be playing Roman key card, and I'm guessing perhaps most players in most teams are all playing Roman key card 1430, which I think is an invaluable resource to avoid bidding slams, missing either 2 key cards, or you also to avoid bidding slams missing an ace and the queen of trumps, because Roman key card treats the king of trumps as an ace, and there's a focus on whether the queen of trumps is held. Now, so slam bidding key methods here are Roman key card and Q bids, and Q bids is the key in slams for slam bidding in teams. And after you agree a suit, you Q bid to say, I have extra values and a slam might be on. This is a key message. Slam bidding in pairs is not as valuable as it is in teams. So in teams, we strive hard not to miss a slam. And if you do bid a slam, it has a pretty powerful effect when you score up at the end of the match. When you're Q bidding, if you bypass a suit, you don't Q bid, you have no control there, and that helps to stop. You'll be able to use your brakes and stop. I have a website called Bridge Coach on Bridgewebs, and there's a number of things there which support this class. But one of them is a 1-page on slam bidding, a little on slam tips. Okay, so feel free to look at that website. There's lots of other things there that might be useful to you. Any comment on slam bidding for teams?
You say shortage there. It's a singleton or void, isn't that
Singleton
right?
or void, yeah. There are circumstances where you have a particular agreement that you're showing a void as against a singleton, but in general, a Q bid is ace king or shortage. So usually a singleton. You may have agreed, Andres, with your partner that if you do a jump Q bid, it's showing a void. And some people play that a void wood, which asks for key cards, excluding the suit they've shown a void in. But we're not covering that today. But for now, Q bidding shows ace king or shortage. So 11 imps are available for bidding a slam. They miss at the other side. Now, I didn't bother giving an example for this because I felt it was a bit too clear and obvious to do so. But when you play as a declarer, you play safely to make the contract. And in pairs, if there is a finesse, you really have to take it. And you don't care if you're risking the contract in pairs. You really don't care. because you know if that finesse is on, you're getting a complete duck if you don't take it. So we're all trained to take these finesses in pairs, hunting good scores, those over tricks. But when you're playing teams, life is different. You play for over tricks only when the contract is safe. So you have to modify your style of declare play. Actually, personally, in teams, I do try and make over tricks. I love trying to bring back an over trick and gain an imp from my team. But I do try and do so in as safe a manner as I can. Over tricks do matter, but you cannot jeopardize your contract to get that over trick. So I haven't given an example. This is the only one I haven't given an example on it because I think it's too clear and obvious a point. Now, defense. In defense, when I play teams, my teammates, what I look to see from my teammates is that they keep the defense tight and no easy tricks. And you might think this is a key area of skill for a strong team is their defense. Now, one thing I strongly believe in, and I would recommend to you is that you make light lead directing overcalls. Some of your teammates may complain about their partner's bad lead. Well, why not overcall and attract the right lead from partner? So in defense, both myself and my partner, we may both, on the same hand, both make light lead directing overcalls. And we're trying to set up, it's like tennis. He leads the suit I bid, and I lead the suit back that he bid. It's a powerful, to begin the defense during the auction is a powerful approach. So on many hands, making light leading overcalls will help your defensive plan. Any comments on this?
How light would you?
How light will I go?
For showing there is about 7 points.
7 points. I think, according to theory, the minimum you have for an overcall is 7 to 17. A simple overcall to one level shows 7 to 17. I've done it occasionally with, if you gave me ace jack 10 to 5 spades and not a lot non-vulnerable, that's a 5 count. I think I could be guilty of overcalling a spade there if partner's a passed hand. But that's extreme. A 7 count is the minimum. On the hand shown, it's really critical that you bid a spade because West could well be bidding no trump, and you really want a spade lead. Partners, a spade lead from King Doubleton or Doubleton 9 of spades and so on, or 3 small, is invaluable to the defense to put the declarer under pressure. And now you must bid, take a little chance, non-vulnerable. So on occasion, I'll even make a 2-level overcall for lead directing, and some of those bids might be X-rated, not to be imitated, but it's so important to get the right lead in defense that you have to take some chances at times to get it from partner. This is a key source of, a strong team will use that method to, get the defense off to the right start. The main method, they'll also be using their defensive agreements during the hand, showing count, undermining the entries in dummy, and so on. There's a lot of, so it's a key area. In defense, an expert team has an advantage against your team with their experience, agreements, and their approach to defending. So this, you won't be able to catch up to the expert team in this area so easily. in all the other tips, you can cover the gap between you and the expert team by adopting the methods approach, outlined. Now, in defense, I don't know if you've ever had people talk about whether to use active or passive defense. So active defense means you open up new suits, you make risky switches, and I would use active defense if you believe there's a source of tricks coming down in dummy. That if you don't do something, the declarer is going to make their contract. So you have to take risky, bold action in order to counterattack against the declarer. But I would say on the majority of hands, on 50% or even more hands, a passive defense is best. If there's no source of tricks, if there's no reason to panic, let the declarer play new suits. You might, if the suit contract, keep making declarer rough in hand, or a no trump, put them back into the, play back the suit they've established, and let them play the new suits. Passive defense yields surprising benefits in teams. If you choose, if you're able to distinguish between when to be active and when to be passive. Passive defense definitely stops over tricks and will knock many contracts where you can stick the declarer in their own hand or in dummy when they don't want to be. And by being passive, the declarer has to play those new suits. And many suits are frozen. A frozen suit is a suit that whoever plays it loses a trick. And if the declarer is playing all these suits, they will be losing tricks to you. Any comments on that? Defense? Okay, we're near to finish now. So we've we'll be putting a one-pager up on the website. So this is the idea here is to summarize the key points in a manner you can bring to your teammates. And critically, not just bring it, I think discussing it with your teammates would be valuable. And maybe even after you score up a match, maybe take it out and see where you went wrong and see if any of these points would have helped you get it right. So it summarizes up the tip, the typical imps to be gained if you use it. And it's a one-pager designed to hopefully offer lasting value. And these are the 9 methods my team would use to try and gain an edge against you in a match. And hopefully we'll have covered, the extra knowledge you've gained tonight will close the gap that there might be between you and an expert team. So, in conclusion, Teams is the purest and best form of bridge. I strongly believe that. So, my team enjoy and play Teams far more than they do pairs. All the World Championships and European Championships and so on, Teams is the main form used in international bridge. So, you should enjoy your season ahead of Teams Bridge. It's a great event that you got. I think there's 8 teams in the Confined Masters. So you'll have 7 strong matches to look forward to. And we're getting close to rugby time. So I put up an image here of the tackle. And when I see this rugby tackle, I'd like to see you guys tackling the opposition before they make a vulnerable game, before they make a try. Tackle them during the auction and stop them making those vulnerable games. Any questions on the night?
Paul, thank you very much. That was really very informative. I just have one very basic question, really. It's regards bidding. And if you're undecided between 3-no trump or 4 of a major, am I correct in assuming that 3-no trump is going to be a safer option with a minimal difference in points?
It's a great question, and I think I have a powerful answer to it. All right. So you have a choice between 3-note trump and 4 of a major. How do you make that choice? Well, there's a very simple rule called the 28-point rule. The 28-point rule says that if you have a 5-3 major fit, or a 4-4 major fit, but particularly a 5-3 major fit, if you have 28 points or more, and you have a choice between playing in 3-note trump or 4 of a major, you should play in 3-note trump. In 3-note trump, the 28 points, 29 points, you have extra points distributed across your hand and dummy, extra stops, and you're immune from a bad break in trumps, which could happen occasionally. So when I have 28 points or more, and I have a choice between playing 3-note trump or 4 of a major, I choose 3-note trump. Conversely, when I have less than 28 points, I am inclined to play in the 4 of a major. I have fewer points, I have fewer stops at the side, and I have to rely on roughs to control the auction.
Okay, thank you. That's food for thought.
Yeah, it's a well-known adage. It's not just mine. I think it might be a Larry Cohen originally, but it's a very good concept. The 28-point rule. Any more questions?
Thank you.
One
Very good.
Yeah.
in third seat, when should you intervene?
In third seat, yes, Andres?
Third.
You have a question, Andres, have you?
If you're in the pass out seat,
Yeah.
when should you bid, you know?
Yeah.
Do it a week.
If you're in the pass out seat, so let's say the bidding goes 1 heart, pass, back to you. The key thought here is there's a concept of the transferable king. So if it goes 1 heart, pass, a double in 4th position shows a king less than the same action in 2nd position. So mentally, you transfer a king from partner's hand to your hand and you bid accordingly. So all the actions are a king lighter than if partner took the action in 2nd position. So your whole bidding structure is more aggressive. The key point is when it goes 1 heart, pass, if I have length in hearts, that means partner is short in hearts and partner took no action. So now I'm going to pass the hand out. I'm going to defend 1 heart because I know partner is weak and there's nothing on for us. So I'll choose to defend. Conversely, if I'm short in hearts, it goes 1 heart, pass, and I have a singleton heart and a 7 or 8 count, I will make a takeout double using the transferable king logic. I take a king at a partner's hand, I bring it over to my hand, and now I have a 10 count. I had 7, I take a king, I borrow a king, and I know I've got 10 points and a singleton heart, I double for takeout. And on all the hands where partner has good values and hearts, I've protected their hand. And we might even, the option might even get doubled in 1 heart down 3, which happens on occasion. So you bid aggressively in 4th position. If you're short in hearts and with length in hearts, you pass it out.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I might finish it there. Fiona, unless there's any more questions.
Thank you very much, Paul. That was absolutely brilliant. And if anybody hasn't seen last week's presentation, have a look at it on the video that your captain was emailed. And this has been recorded tonight and will be emailed out to the captains next week. So you can share it with teammates that didn't manage to make tonight.
Okay.
But I really want to thank you very much for putting so much work into it, Paul. It really, really
Yeah.
was very informative.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that the material will be useful next year as well. And it'll be on the website and it'll be on YouTube. So, so if you do ask me to do something next year, it'll be a different topic, or go deeper in some aspect of Teamsbridge.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Fiona,
That's
thank you
it.
to the regional. Thank you to the region.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're delighted that Paul was available to do this, so we're very grateful.
I'm going off to enjoy the match now with a glass of red wine. Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay.
Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
night,
Thanks,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.